Today we're going to kind of keep going in sections 1.4. We're going to look at graphing. Well, let me back up. We're going to go the opposite direction. I'm going to give you a picture of the graph, and I want you to tell me its equation. This is actually easier than it sounds. In some respects, this is easier than what we just got through doing with number 19 on board. So take a minute, and I'm going to give you just a few minutes to talk about this. Talk with your neighbors, okay, about how you would graph this. What I want you to do in just groups of, 3 or 4, I want you to talk about what's important about what you see. What can you look at that and say, oh, I know the equation is going to have this part of it. I know this is what it's going to be. I know this is in it. Look at that for a minute and just see if you can come up with 3 or 4 things that just by looking at the picture, you know that you might not have the equation down, but you know that, well, it's definitely going to be this. It's definitely going to have this on it. Look at that and just talk for a minute. Raise your hand. Shane? Hold on. It's shaded above. That's how it's going to be greater than. What else do you see that's important? It's dotted, meaning it's just going to be greater than, not an equal to part. What else? Y-intercept is -1 because it goes right through the y-axis. If you look right here, it goes through -1. What else? Okay, so it looks like you get all this stuff. Now here's what you look at for slope. I'm going to look on my picture and I'm going to find out exactly where it goes through the points, the coordinates, the axes, right? So you can see, well, it goes right through here at -1 on the y-axis. It also goes through an exact point here at 3, 1. I don't need to know the coordinates, but I do need to know how high did I go, how up rise, and how far did I go left and right, my run, which makes me have rise over run. I go up 2, over 3, so rise over run. That gives me the slope. How do you make sure that it's positive or negative? What are you looking at for that? Which way the line goes. Since it's leaning to the right side, the positive x-axis is over this way, so it's a positive slope line. So the only thing you have to do is take those 2 parts, which we found here. Once you've got the slope and the y-intercept, we know this is a line. It's very obvious that it's a line. Then I'm going to use y equals mx plus b to write the equations out at the bottom. Any questions about how? You all said all of the things that were very important to note. You noticed the slope. You noticed the y-intercept. You noticed the fact that it was a line. You noticed the fact that it was dotted and it was shaded above. And that told you every single thing you needed to know in order to write out the equation that went with that. So let's try another one. Same thing. This time I want you to try and write out your equation, not just talk about it. I want you to write out the equation for it. In this example, you noticed, the first thing we noticed was that the y-intercept wasn't very pretty. Okay, it's not on an exact whole number, but it's okay because it does go through a fairly decent place, right? So you're looking at it, you look, okay, well, it's going through right here between 1 and 2, halfway. So it is 3 halves, or 1.5, or 1.5, however you decided to write it. We also noted that it is dotted, so it's going to be strictly a less than because it's shaded underneath. What coordinates are the 2 points we're going to use to find the slope of the line? Can you tell me those coordinates?
The one where the line is touching the x-axis.
Give me the coordinate.
2, 0. Is 2, 0.
It's 2, 0. Good, it's right here.
And 2, 3. The first one that's an even 1.5.
That one. So we have 3 halves as our y-intercept. You can see it on the picture. And then we see the 2 dots. That's going right through a coordinate. And if you keep going up, it's not quite there. That's where it hits the coordinate. So let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's my run. That's the bottom, my denominator. I go up 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be 3 over 4. Is it positive or negative?
It's negative.
So you can see those values 3 and 4. It is negative because it leans to the left. And so you get this, right? That's my slope. I just add in my y-intercept. And that's what you have. That's not a less than or equal to. That's just less than. Did I put that in there? Yeah, there it is. Thank you. Y is less than negative 3/4 x plus 3/2. In my opinion, I think this stuff is easier than if I gave you the equation and say, here, solve the algebra and then graph it. Okay. On the board, you can see another one. What I want you to do is work this one out. This one is actually an absolute value. And so, let me get a picture. Okay, so there it is. So now you can take this one. I'm recording the lesson, so I needed a picture of it. We're going to work this one out same way, but this one's absolute value. I want you to try this one and see what you get. It is important to note what these points are right here. Why would I need to know what those are? It's going to tell me it's going to tell me the number out front. Basically, it's going to tell me what the slope is. Right? If it's a 1 and 1, I'm good. It's just over 1, up 1. If it's 2 or 3 or 4, I would know. Let's try that real quick. See if you can come up. Talk with each other. See what you come up with. Listen carefully. Your homework tonight is going to cover these kinds of problems. You're going to go through some of this. I've given you 2 problems like this. And I've given you some word problems to work through. So it's not a lot of problems, but it takes a little time. What's your question?
Does it matter in the absolute value if it's a negative or a positive?
It definitely matters. We're going to talk about that. First things first. When dealing with the absolute value, it's a good question. I need to know the vertex. So if you come down and you look at the vertex, what is my vertex?
4, 1.
The vertex is right there. It is 4, 1. Am I shading? Is this going to be greater than or less than?
Greater than.
It's going to be greater. Is it solid or dotted? This is clearly, it's just greater than, right? So it's not going to be greater than or equal to. It's just this. So here's my, what's going to be y is greater than. What's the slope?
2.
Let's look at it. I'm going to go over 1. So that would be 1. And then I'm going to go up 2 times. So the slope is 2, or 2 over 1. So we come back. It's going to be 2 times the absolute value of x. What?
Minus 4.
Plus 1.
Plus 1.
How do you know it's a minus?
Because the formula by itself, it's always the opposite of the inside. It's exactly the same on the outside. Since it was 4, x was 4, it's the opposite on the inside. X goes on the inside with x. The y coordinate goes on the outside by itself.
So if the vertex was negative 4, 1, the inside would be x
Plus 4. That's right. Any questions? You got it? Good. There's your homework. Page 22, numbers 24, 25, and then 29 to 31. Not a lot, but spend some time on this stuff. Let me give you a suggestion. I have given you homework assignments. The first page was page 19. It was 1 through 21 odd. Last night was page 21, 1 through 21 odd. And of course, what you see on the picture that's typed. These are the 3 assignments. This is out of the same section. Okay. Of course, we had a test at the beginning of the week. But the rest of the week, we've been working on the same section. Tomorrow, it would be in your best interest to walk in here with that homework. Just saying. Might be a good idea. Well, technically, you should have already done the ones in red. Yeah. So, go home, practice that.